Hello and welcome to Refuse. As always, I'm Plume Noir, and it has been a heck of a long day. I just got home not too long ago and figured I'd take a look at Doomsday Clock. Do you remember this series? Oh God, this has been going now since what? Didn't this start in 2017? The schedule on this book is killing it, which is really sad because I know they were building up from Rebirth to the Button. I wanted to call it the Badge. The Button, that was the Batman Flash crossover. And then we still have the whole mystery with the three Jokers. There was so much going on. It was leading up to this, and it sounded so interesting. But the schedule is killing it, and we're only up to issue 9 of 12. My comic shop even joked that Heroes in Crisis will probably finish up before this book does. And it's a shame because I imagine this book's going to read very well in trade or, all in one sitting. So anyway, let's just go ahead and dive in. So we have Dr. Manhattan starting. It's December 27th, 3019. Ooh, issue 12 must have finally come out. A boy sacrifices his life to save Earth's son. Although his body is destroyed, his ring survives. Now, I'm not really a big fan of the Legion of Superheroes, but I know a little bit. Obviously this panel I know that's Pharaoh Lad. He sacrificed himself to stop the Sun Eaters. That little bit of cultural osmosis you pick up, from just reading books in the industry as long as I have. Um, the explosion sends the ring careening back through time like a tachyon particle. Okay. Okay. So it's December 20th, 3019. The dead boy is alive. He sweats under his iron mask, auditioning to join a legion of others dedicated to uniting the universe. The dead boy's ring is in my hand. It's July 16th, 1940. I move the lantern 6 inches out of Alan Scott's reach. There is no ring in my hand. There never was a ring. This is interesting. Okay, so we know that Dr. Manhattan, we found this out in a previous issue, that he made it so Alan Scott never got the lantern, never became a Green Lantern, which caused the JSA to never form. And so this is interesting because you would think that that whole ripple effect through time is really kind of messed up because you would think that Superman, as a child, as a baby, would still be sent to Earth, would still go as Superboy into the future, join the Legion of Superheroes. In fact, during the Sun Eater Pharaoh Lad story, if I recall, like I said, I've never read the story. I just know of it, but it seems to me that Superboy was weakened. Pharaoh Lad knocks him out because Superboy was going to destroy the Sun Eater. So wouldn't Superboy make the sacrifice instead? So it just says that the ring is gone. But notice here, there's no ring in my hand. There never was a ring. But there's still the blood, the frozen blood that survived the explosion. So if there was no Alan Scott, no Legion ring, so why does he still have Pharaoh Lad's blood on his hands? That was really interesting. So he's going back through time. There's nothing but darkness because, as he says in December 27th, 3019, because Pharaoh Lad didn't sacrifice himself, the Sun Eater ate the sun. There's nothing. It goes back through the years, nothing. 1 week from now, the last thing I see is Superman. In a rage, his cape is torn, his hands stained with blood. I stand on Mars, unable to answer a single question. Does Superman destroy me, or do I destroy everything? Then we get this really neat panel of just spaceships leaving Earth. And the title of the issue is called Crisis. And so the next few pages, we get we see who's on board the ships. We have the Hawks, Big Barda, Mr. Miracle. Here we have the Lanterns, as well as the Cyborg and Wonder Girl. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so the Titans and the Lanterns. Here we have pretty much the classic Justice League lineup. Um, so here we have like people, the Metal Men, Supergirl, and Steel. The Magic Heroes, the Justice League Dark, the Doom Patrol. I really gotta check out that show. I'm wondering if that's any good. Over in this panel, we have a ship that's the Bat Family and the Outsiders. Um, this ship is pretty much the JSA. And a nice nod, we have all the old Charlton characters. Is it Charlton? Yeah, I think it's called Charlton. I never knew how to pronounce that, if it's a K or Charlton. Maybe Charlton. And, it's all the ones that basically inspired the Watchmen characters. So we're back to Dr. Manhattan. And he's talking about 5 days and 3 hours ago, a detonation on Earth creates a tachyon fog, obscuring the immediate past and future. So he's having trouble reading time. Uh, he does the whole thing. What are you hoping to accomplish? No, that's not now. That's later. We had this in the original Watchmen when he was talking to Laurie, and no, I'm talking to so and so in the future. And as the tachyon particles finally begin to fade, I am able to probe into the past, following them into their source. And we go back to Moscow, and that was the bomb that basically was setting up Firestorm, and it killed a lot of civilians, took down Batman, took out Superman. So Hawkman and Hal Jordan find them. And so, yeah, he still thinks that was Firestorm that did it. So there's the whole theory of the Superman theory going on. And now here we had Superman basically defending Firestorm. And it's causing a huge backlash. Um, the government has to kind of separate ties with him because it looks like he's turned on the U.S. But Superman is actually in the Hall of Justice, recovering from his injuries. So Lois Lane joins him. And yeah, we have the president being advised that you've got to go out there and condemn Superman's actions. Condemn them, I'll be giving up the biggest deterrent to foreign attack I've got. It's a huge thing what you're asking. Huge. Yeah, they kind of make him sound like Trump. He's a liability now. You stand by Superman today, you lose the White House tomorrow. I should throw this failure to the wolves too. Arrogant and very dumb. I would advise against that. No one wants to go to prison. The Firestorm file. And yeah, here we have Rorschach, in the alleyway. You see what you want to see. Because he's been pretty much broken by the things he's learned from Ozymandias that he's been played, that Adrian doesn't even have cancer. So yeah, we're going to skip through that a little bit here. Bruce wakes up and finds out that Clark's in the Hall of Justice. And at the same time, Ronnie Raymond wakes up. He's got Martin Stein there. Find out he's on one of the ships, and they're heading to Mars. They got to get their ass to Mars. And so Alfred's pretty much doing an exposition dump. If it was someone else. Someone they believe was trying to kill Superman. It was an energy they never encountered, and they traced it to Mars. And Bruce is always ahead of the game. They're being played. Played? Excuse me, sir. I believe your last words to Superman before the explosion were, "It isn't Firestorm." Firestorm wasn't behind the explosion. And I don't know if the man they're going after was either. I should have listened. I didn't see it. So, he's trying to get a message to Mars. Obviously, probably to tell them to stop or cool their heels. So, the Lanterns are the first to disembark on Mars because obviously they have the power rings, they have force fields, and they're finding things that are left over, like the checkered floor tile, the pitcher. Did Dr. Manhattan bring this stuff over, especially the pitcher from the other universe? So yeah, it's a little bit playful. How do we know it's a he or she? And this is an interesting thing because Martin Stein is really upset that he's been taken to Mars. As he says, we've essentially been shanghaied by the Justice League. And so Oh, did I skip a page? Feels like I skipped a page. One thing in this is Lois, is with Superman, and Lex Luthor finds his way into the Hall of Justice. And so we cut back and forth between um, them and Firestorm. Um, you know, Stein is upset that they're going to Mars, which is really, really weird. Um, so, Raymond says, Ronnie says, we got to do something. So he forces them to merge into Firestorm, and because he knows what they have to do. So when the lanterns cover Mars with a dome, it's up to Firestorm to give oxygen so they can all breathe. And Martin Stein says, I am demanding you remove us from this, Ronald. I'm not going anywhere. What's your problem? I won't help you. This must be so weird to be around Firestorm. He must seem crazy, just yelling at himself. I don't need your advice to create breathable air, Professor. Even I know that one. So now once they have air, they can all the other heroes can disembark, while Bruce is just waiting for the message to get through. And so they come upon Dr. Manhattan's palace he's created, and it gets really good. And so they come across Dr. Manhattan, of course, wandering around naked. Um, and Dr. Manhattan says, they're protesting a power they fear. Jean says, I don't understand. Excuse me, I was talking to Ronald Raymond 6 minutes from now. The tachyons are muddling things up. You're here looking for answers you don't know the questions to. And of course, Guy. That's the thing is, you got Jeff Johns writing this, so there's a lot of Guy in this, and it's great, Guy Gardner. Shocker, the guy's a lunatic. So Guy is basically yelling at Dr. Manhattan, showing them, that they're badasses, the stuff they're capable of doing, and uh, Dr. Manhattan says, in 5 seconds, you will broadcast to everyone the thought you read most clearly, my final vision of Superman. Which, of course, pisses people off. Supergirl, you think he's going to destroy you, so you're out to destroy him first? And which causes Guy to go up and make the first move. And with a punch, breaks Dr. Manhattan's neck. And even Guy's pretty surprised. Wait, is that it? Christ, I didn't mean to kill him outright, but he had it coming. And Dr. Manhattan just disappears and then reappears. And there's another great part coming up here. It's kind of subtle, if you ask me. So, Dr. Manhattan, says, that ring, I'm curious, what's inside it? And so he takes the ring off of Guy and says, um, I must admit, not knowing what is and what was and will be, it's enjoyable. And this energy, emotion coalesced and manufactured into power by the ring. I find it difficult to affect. That is a great, great line. Because think about it. One of the problems with Dr. Manhattan is that he's experiencing time. He experiences time simultaneously. If you've read the original Watchmen, it kind of raises questions about whether or not he even has free will. The rings run on willpower. That's what a Green Lantern ring channels, willpower. And since Dr. Manhattan, he experiences time all simultaneously, and you have these things where he's actually reacting to things in the future and the past. He's kind of like just a puppet. It almost seems like he doesn't have free will. So a ring that's powered by willpower, he finds it difficult to affect. That that panel sold me. I really like that. That was a good job. So then, of course, we end up getting the fight starts. And we get kind of an explanation of what magic is in the DC universe. Um, so, you all believe you're wielding magic. I must perform a deeper analysis, but I see the power you harness is in reality the scraps of creation, like the random errors in computer code, discarded and forgotten, left to be picked up and used by those who also find themselves discarded and forgotten. It's just like magic. it feels good to still learn. And then Dr. Manhattan starts wielding magic and just blasts them with it. And you're like, oh God. I can't go on much farther. Um, um, so we'll cut back to this scene here where we have back in the Hall of Justice. In the Hall of Justice, we have Lex and Lois, and they're arguing. And Lex says, "That may be an overstatement. I'm here to help you, Lois, with the story of your life. Why would I believe a thing you say? Oh, Lois, it's true. I'll admit, I'm ecstatic to see Superman taken down a peg or two. But I understand your caution when it comes to me. But please, hear me out. Take it if it makes you feel better." So, Lex hands Lois a gun, which she, of course, immediately points at Lex, and don't take a step closer to Superman. Now, she just took a gun from basically her enemy. How does she know it's even loaded? Or how does she know that the bullets aren't blanks? How do we know he gave her, an unloaded gun? He has a real gun. Kind of a stupid part, but we'll let emotion, say that emotion is overriding. So the battle continues. Alfred is like, "Sir, I trust you aren't thinking of going to Mars." And at this time, Wonder Woman's not there. So basically, the Trinity is not on Mars. Superman is in a bed in the Hall of Justice. Bruce has just gotten up out of bed from his injuries. Wonder Woman is about to give um, a speech, a broadcasted speech, and then Firestorm, charges at Dr. Manhattan. And you know what? I'm going to stop there. There's still a few pages, but I'm going to stop because there's a few very interesting things that could change the entire view of at least one character. And which is really good because we have a good Captain Atom part coming up. But anyway, this book is good. This is good. The previous issues have been kind of hit and miss, and the delays are killing this book, but this book kills it. This has made it worthwhile. This is the kind of book that I want to take the previous 8 issues and sit back and then read them back to back. I mean, it's good. And like I said, there's little subtle things in here that I got to give Jeff Johns credit on. That whole willpower bit, that because the whole free will, Dr. Manhattan can't affect it. Um, yeah, although this is interesting, the blood is still on his hand. I can't help but think that means something. And of course, I don't, before I even forget to mention it, Gary Frank does the art, and the art is just, it's good. Um, it's a good book. I'm gobsmacked at how good this is. People have been complaining about following up to the Watchmen, and how can you dare follow it up? And yeah, this is good. I'm enjoying this. I'm giving it a noon. Noon. I read this book back to back twice, and it's I can't recommend it enough. Um, yeah, I'm hoping that the rest of the series um, continues on with this because we still have a couple more issues here, 3 more issues, and it's not looking good, because Dr. Manhattan wielding magic. Holy cow! And where does he fit in with all this? What's going on um with Joker and oh god, I'm blanking on their names. Basically the Joker and Harley Quinn of the Watchmen universe, and I'm just drawing a complete blank on their names, which is a problem with these delays. Um, so yeah, there's all this setup, and like I said, there's a twist at the ending that could really, really change one of the characters, and I can already tell people are not going to be happy. So anyway, yep, recommended. Noon, full noon. And anyway, as always, this week I am giving away a Mystique figure right here. Um, as always, the rules are simple. It's open to the U.S. and Canada. Just make sure you're subscribed and leave a comment. And my question is, just leave a comment answering the question. This Mystique figure comes with two heads. We got the Lilandra and we got Rogue. What other head do you think they should have included? Um, could be in place, could be an extra one, because she's a shapeshifter. And, obviously it'd be another character's head on her body, but, you know, I want an Irene Adler. I wanted Destiny. That would have been awesome. So yeah, just let me know. What other head do you think could have been included? It could be anyone. It doesn't even have to be a Marvel Universe character. She's blue. Put a Dr. Manhattan head on her. Or maybe just we could peel off the hair here and okay, maybe a little bit creepy, but you get what I'm saying. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to wrap things up. Went a little long, but this book is good. It's really good. So, alright, thanks for watching, and I will see you again next time.